Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and for this episode I am joined by the remarkable sax player Emma Rawicz. If you look on my blog, you can see my review of Emma and her band at King's Place, which is one of my favourite gigs of 2024. That band included trumpeter Laura Jurd, who is also on my list of people to interview for this podcast. I'm delighted to be releasing this episode of Harmonious World on the 1st of January 2025, and once more I'm focusing on an up-and-coming musician who is already gaining quite a high reputation. I hope you also realise that this podcast is inspired by the Quincy Jones quote, "Imagine what a harmonious world it would be if everyone shared a little of what they're good at." And this podcast is all about me chatting with musicians to get them to share what they're good at. My past guests include Grammy winners and nominees, and those starting out in the music business and seasoned professionals. What you're listening to now is Middle Ground from Emma Rawicz, my guest for this episode, and I hope you enjoy listening to our conversation. Hello, welcome to Harmonious World.
Thanks for having me.
That's brilliant. It's really good to have you. I mean, as you know, I'm a massive fan, and so it's really good that we were able to have this time to chat.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really happy to chat. It's really cool.
Fantastic. As you know, I saw you at King's Place a few weeks ago, and that was just amazing. That felt like a real moment of London Jazz Festival. Did it feel like that to you at the time?
Oh, it was great. I had such an amazing time on that concert. I think for me it was very special on a number of levels. It was great to play at King's Place. It's obviously a beautiful venue and one that I've kind of hoped I might get the chance to present my music in for a while now. And to do so with such a fantastic team of musicians on board was really a dream come true for me. To get to share the stage with Laura, Jason, Connor and Anton all at the same time was just unbelievable. And I'm hoping, and I've been told that the kind of joy that we all felt from that was really palpable, because it was just very special. We're playing a new set of music. It was a great venue. And yeah, I think overall it was a super positive thing. And I really hope we get to do it again at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's not a usual band, is it? Jason it was the first time you played with him live
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, obviously I've been a big fan of Jason for a long time and I've listened to lots of his music. I'd seen him play at King's Place actually a few years prior. And yeah, huge fan, obviously. He's a fantastic musician. But this was the first opportunity that we had to come together and play together on a gig. So that was really cool for me.
Yeah, fantastic. And Laura Jurd, I mean, she can do no wrong. I mean, she's an astonishing trumpeter, isn't she?
She's wonderful and she's such a cool person, and I think probably one of the most genuinely open-minded and creative people that I've ever met. Like really, honestly, she has this very special ability to just be incredibly positive and creative in whatever situation and bring herself to it in a very genuine way, which I think it's really hard to do, to kind of be yourself but also complement the situation in equal measure, and that's something she seems to just do no matter where she is, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it's Anton, isn't it, on the drums? He was really special. He added so much. Often drummers sit there and they just kind of do their thing at the back and they're fine, but he
Yeah.
was not fine. He was incredible.
Yeah, totally. He's a huge personality and also very, very positive and very individual as well. And I think that was something that was really important to me when I was trying to put the band together, was to bring a group of individuals, really individual individuals, unique people with unique voices and their own thing, who also managed to do that kind of incredible task of coming on stage with other people who also have really strong identities and just blending and complementing each other. And I really felt that the spirit on stage of everyone was one of lifting each other up, which obviously it sounds like a bit of an obvious thing to say, that it's important to make the people around you sound and feel good, but it's a thing that is actually rarer than you'd think. And everyone on stage really brought that energy, I think, and I really value that.
And you've worked quite a lot with Connor before, haven't you, the bass player?
Yeah, Connor's a good friend, and he's amazing. He's just such a talented musician technically. He seems to come up with these amazing ideas on a creative level. Just every single time it's something new and brilliant. And he also gets on with everyone in that group. He was kind of the obvious choice for bass in that situation because he's played with everybody so much, and he's almost like the glue that holds
Yeah.
everyone together. You know, this amazing musician, but also kind of has such an incredible rapport with so many other musicians as well because he's so in demand and has so much experience playing with them. So that was really cool as well.
Yeah. And then, of course, I saw you at Ronnie's with Lila Bialy.
Yeah, that was awesome in a totally different way, but also
Yeah.
amazing.
My understanding is that she kindly sent you through all the music, but it was all in concert pitch, not in, B flat or whatever.
It was, yeah, but it's funny because that's the sort of thing that would make a gig difficult normally. But with Lila, it all felt easy. I mean, she's obviously a really really special person. She kind of sparkles on stage. You know, she's just so generous and so energetic, and just brings so much kind of life and positivity to the music. And to come into that situation, even though I'm not her regular saxophone player or I'm not super familiar with all the music. For much of that, I was playing for the first time. It's such a kind of generous vibe that it feels easy, and she's so positive, and you feel that even if something went wrong, it would still be great, which is
Well,
very,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, she owns the room, doesn't she? Any room she's in, she owns it.
yeah, it's
So,
amazing. She's very,
yeah.
very magnetic, I think.
Yes, and her music is just lovely, and I was so pleased that she did her version of "Take Me to the Alley," which
Mm.
I absolutely loved, and your solo on that was great.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, her choice of repertoire was really great. It was really
Yeah,
broad, and I think fulfilled the festive spirit for sure, but also just the range of it, just on a musical level, was awesome to play. You know, there was really everything in there, and it felt really interesting on the stage, and I get the sense that it was a really good mix as an audience member as well, which is something that's very difficult to achieve, to, make it satisfying musically for the musicians and also for the audience. It's like sometimes it feels that people need to make a compromise in one of those areas, but I don't think that Lila does.
no, no, absolutely. Um, so 2024 feels like it's been your year, Emma.
Well,
You've done so much.
it's been a busy one, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's been amazing. I feel like it's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's gone very quickly. It's involved a number of things. I mean, I graduated from the Royal Academy of Music this year. I've been on tour in a number of countries. I've recorded 2 more albums, and it's just been totally crazy. But I feel really, really lucky to have been able to do all of that in one year. But it does feel like I'm kind of like, are we really at the end of the year already? That's crazy. I swear we just started.
absolutely. Well, this episode is going to be released on the 1st of January 2025. So it's quite a nice way of sort of celebrating everything that 2024 has brought you, but looking forward, as we all tend to do at New Year, but looking forward to what 2025 is going to bring you. So you've got this amazing project with
Yeah.
Gwilym Simcock.
Well, the duo project with Gwilym is kind of a project that I thought would never happen, just because it seemed like something that was too far-fetched, because Gwilym's been a musical hero of mine for years. Like, honestly, since before I even started playing the saxophone, I was a huge fan of his music. And I also studied at both the same places that he did, obviously a little bit after. So that's at Cheetham School of Music and at the Royal Academy of Music, and we went to both those places. And obviously, because he's such a lovely person and also an astounding musician, he left a very strong impression in both those places. And as a result, everyone was talking about, oh, you see what Gwilym's doing? And he was very, very much looked up to. And I found him very inspiring on a personal level. So I always thought, oh, you know what? If I ever do a duo project, I would love to do it with Gwilym. But, that at the time seemed like awfully far away, kind of like, oh, well, maybe in 10 years, 15 years, that would be really cool to do it then. And then I had the opportunity to put together something special for London Jazz Festival at Pizza Express in 2023. And I just thought, oh, go on, let's just see if he might be up for it. And I'll just message him, because he'd come into the Royal Academy to do a big band project of his music, which was incredible. And, you know, that was the first time we'd really properly played together. It was obviously in an educational setting, but he's a very generous person and was really kind of connecting with all the students and bringing a lot to the project. And at the end of it, I just said, do you fancy doing a bit more playing? And he was like, yeah, absolutely, just let me know. So I thought, great, okay, I'm gonna just take the plunge and see if there are any opportunities out there. And then this Pizza Express opportunity came along, and I was putting together a kind of drawn out residency, and that was going to be part of it. And I just thought, great, this is the opportunity to try and make this kind of dream happen, really. And it was so special from the very beginning. It was I felt like there was really something, this kind of, I guess, je ne sais quoi to the kind of musical setting. It's because obviously duo in any form is really exposed. You know, there's just two of you, and together you need to kind of make as much music as any other ensemble. You know, whether that's a quartet or a quintet with, there's no drums, there's no bass. You know, and it's particularly terrifying because Gwilym is such a fantastic solo performer. He's done so much solo piano. And I always had it in the back of my mind, like, oh, I wonder if people wouldn't just prefer to see him do a solo. But obviously, it's very silly. But yeah, and it's grown, I think, a lot because we did a couple of gigs together and we had a few more in the book. And then our lovely label, ACT, were really interested in putting out the duo record and record it, getting us to record an album together, which hadn't previously been something we discussed, we were just playing. And so in a relatively short time, we went from doing our first gig to getting in the studio and having done a couple of really quite big gigs. And we were like, oh my gosh, this has gone quite fast. And the thing that I think made it so positive was the fact that we rehearsed so much. And it's quite rare, I think, in jazz to get just the time and resources to be able to rehearse a lot for a gig. Normally people do one rehearsal, many people rehearse on the same day, and that's not for lack of wanting to rehearse more, but often it's just simply not possible. But we were like, right, well, we need to make it possible, because it being such an exposed setting and it being, you know, in preparation for an album, and we played at Jazz Baltica's, a big festival. Neither of us had ever played there before, and it was like, oh gosh, this is quite a big deal. So we thought we really want this to be the best it can be. So that was awesome, to be able to spend so much time really working on the music, writing music for each other, developing it, trying things out. And I think it worked so well because we both have the same attitude to like trying to just make something the best you can possibly make it, and putting everything into it, practicing really hard, rehearsing really hard. And then obviously in the moment, just letting go and doing the best you can and being creative. But in the moments leading up to that, kind of really giving it everything to make sure you can do the best job that you can. And it was really nice to work with someone who had that same drive in that same way, because I think we kind of combined forces a little bit to be like, right, let's do an amazing job of this if we can. And each time we've played together, it feels like those things have developed even further, and it's really nice. I feel like we're kind of at the point where we've got a really cool creative partnership going on, and that's something I never thought I'd be able to say, so I feel really happy.
That's fantastic. I mean, ACT Music, they do some incredible projects, don't they? I mean, some of the you know, I go through my kind of albums of the year, and it's amazing how many of them are on that label.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that they're really invested in creative music. Obviously, yeah. There's always an element of looking at commercial side of things when it comes to releasing music, and that's not something that I ignore, because I think that's important too, because I think it's important that music reaches people, that people can connect to it. But it's great when you don't feel constrained by that. You can feel that you can aim for that whilst also really just doing the creative thing you set out to do, if you see what I mean. It's kind of a difficult thing to describe, I think, and it's a hard balance to strike, but it's one that label does really well, and I feel very lucky to have had their support over the last couple of years.
Yeah. So you and Gwilym are going out on the road with this album when it's released, are you? Yeah,
it's kind of a funny one. We're doing kind of bits and bobs here and there up to the release of the album, and then we'll be doing some more afterwards. And I mean, it's very easy touring with a duo. There's just two of you. There's only one instrument to transport, two of you count the piano. And it's cool. So I think we've got a lovely agent who's working on booking some more stuff. But yeah, we're like going to be playing in quite a few countries next year to support the release of the album, which will be really exciting. And yeah, we're both really excited to see where it goes from here, because we both very much feel like we're at the start of the journey with the project, and we feel that it has so much potential to grow far beyond where it is now. So yeah.
Fantastic. And then, but you're, before all of that really starts, you're at Ronnie's at the end of January, aren't you?
That's right. I'm playing at Ronnie's on the 30th of January with my jazz orchestra. We're doing a double show, which is awesome. I've not done a double show at Ronnie's before with my own project. So that's a nice little milestone. And it's also just great to do big band gigs. I love big band, and getting to put on some of my own big band shows with my own music and with my favourite musicians over the past couple of years has been really special. It's like, I mean, it's one of the best sounds in the world, if you ask me, getting to just hear 20 amazing musicians just all together making music together. It's very special, and it's something that it is really hard to organise. So when I get an opportunity to bring it to somewhere like Ronnie's, that's always really special. So it's going to be some new music for that. We're going to be playing some of the music I've written before, and yeah, I always love that. So I'm really happy to be back at Ronnie's then.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, I look forward to seeing what you're up to across 2025. So it's going to be an exciting year for you again, I think.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, there's already a lot in the book. So I've got lots to look forward to.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, wishing you all the best for a great year.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's exciting times.
I hope you enjoyed listening to that conversation with Emma Rawicz. Please remember you can find reviews of albums and live gigs, including the gig at King's Place that we were talking about, on the blog at hilaryseabrook.blogger.com, and all the links are in the show notes. I hope you enjoy listening to Harmonious World, and please get in touch with any comments you might have. What you're listening to now is Viridian. This is taken from Emma's Chroma album, which came out in August 2023 when she was still studying at the Royal Academy. And obviously in the coming weeks we'll be looking at talking to Gwilym about this duo project that he's working on with Emma, and hopefully I'll be able to get to one of their gigs and then you can hear some of that as well. But thank you once again for joining me for Harmonious World. Whenever you're listening to it, for me, this is 1st of January 2025, and I'm looking forward to a great new year. And I hope it's really good for you too. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.